We got a truth experiment going on here today. You can see the blender, you can see the ice. We've mixed some ice together here already. We're hoping to create mist. This is kind of a tough experiment in a way because you have to really be watching to see the mist. But no doubt we all know mist exists. And the question is this morning about your life. What is your life? What is your life like? Is it like fog? Is your life like mist? Life's sort of like mist and fog. Almost all of us have seen fog settle in right in the morning. You're getting up, you're getting on the bus, and there's this big, thick, dense fog, right? And it reduces your ability to be able to see. But then by lunchtime at school, the fog's all disappeared just as it appeared, right? But wait a minute. Is it fog that disappears quickly, or is it mist that disappears faster? Or is it both? Well, technically speaking, we need to understand that mist and fog are very similar. Fog is actually a lower lying cloud cover that can reduce visibility up to like 600 feet or 180 meters or about. We also have to note that fog can be a lot more dense or thick than mist, and it usually can last longer. I'll never forget this experience I had one time with fog. It was an up-close and personal experience. I was with my family. We were on this vacation, right? And we were driving across the country, exploring all the United States, looking at all these places. And one of the favorite places to visit on my trip and for the vacation for me was Mount Rushmore, right? I'd always wanted to go to Mount Rushmore when I was a boy. I'd always dreamed about it. Now as an adult on vacation with my own children, here we are at Mount Rushmore, and it's like the highlight of the trip for me. I said for me, right? Everybody else didn't care. That wasn't the favorite destination of the rest of the family. But we finally get there. It takes forever, it seems like. And we get up the mountain. We pay to go in. And as soon as we get in, here comes out of nowhere, seemingly, here comes this big fog. And it covers all of Mount Rushmore. And all of the presidential faces are covered with this dense fog. And there's zero visibility. And it's such a disappointment because I can't see the presidential faces. So I waited and waited, and the fog didn't lift, so I got this idea. We'll stay the night somewhere close by, and then we'll come back in the morning. I've already paid to get in, and then I'll be able to see Mount Rushmore, because who knows when I'll get back, right? I want to check this out. It's really neat. So I came back in the morning, and what you know, the fog was still there, right? And I waited and waited as long as I could. Like an hour passed by, and finally this little hole opens up, right? And I can see like Washington's nose. And then I see Washington's nose, and it looks like the fog is going to clear and make a bigger hole where I can see more. And then all of a sudden, as soon as the hole opens, it closed. And that's all I got to see was George Washington's nose. So that was the highlight of the Mount Rushmore trip. I didn't get to see all the presidential faces. So that's still a lingering disappointment, and I wait to go back sometime. So that kind of bummed me out, you know, and that's my fog story. But, you know, mist, that was fog, and mist is kind of different than fog. It's not so thick as fog. You can usually see through mist more. It forms more at ground level. Also, usually there's a lot more moist air involved when we have a mist, and a lot of times mist forms over bodies of water, and you can actually see through mist a lot better. And you can often, like if you live in San Francisco and you go over the Bay Bridge, a lot of times in the morning you can probably see the low-lying mist and fog forming right over the San Francisco Bay, right? And then that usually, as the morning disappears, the sun comes up, that mist will dissipate from over the water. But mist and fog are still a lot alike, right? All right, I'd like to let us take a look at our storyboard just for a moment so that we can actually figure out mist and fog. They're mist and fog, right? What is it? What is your life like? Is it like mist or is it like fog? How are mist and fog different? Well, they're a lot more alike than they are different, actually. Mist and fog are both made when water vapors in the air cool and turn back into liquid in the air again. And if you see on our storyboard, you can see this is the San Francisco Bay right here, the water, and you can kind of see the mountains or the land right here, and then this is the fog coming off of the lands here. But mist and fog form near the ground, usually overnight at nighttime because the Earth's surface cools. And then those cold water vapors that are near the surface, they will then make mist as the morning time comes. The night is over and the morning comes. The mist appears like you can see there on our storyboard. So mist and fog are actually a lot alike. But it'd be quite difficult for us to manufacture fog in here, right? We'd have to go through a lot of trouble. But you know what? We can create mist. Actually, as cold as it's been outside, yesterday, did anybody go outside in the morning? If you were outside earlier this week, you could just see yourself breathe. You create a mist or a vapor like just walking to school or walking to the bus, right? You see your breath because you know what's going on. In your breath, you have moisture, right? You have water vapor in your breath, and so when you breathe out your hot breath into that really frigid cold air, bam, it makes a mist appear, right? And it's probably cold enough today, this morning. Did anybody see their breath this morning when you got up? It was cold enough. Before we perform our truth tester right here, I was just thinking about this verse in the Bible came to my mind, and it's in James chapter 4, verse 14. Is anybody familiar with what James chapter 4, verse 14 says? It's a verse I memorized a long time ago when I was in youth group myself. And in the NIV says it like this. It says, "What is your life but a vapor that's here for a very short time and then vanishes away?" James is comparing our life to this vapor or a mist or a fog that appears for a second or a moment and then is gone. And that's kind of like what mist is like. It's here right at this moment and then it vanishes. And it's more like a vapor that we're going to be creating hopefully today with our experiment. We tested this on Friday and it worked and we had a real nice vapor. They only last like a split second and then they're gone. And that is what James is comparing your life to, is a vapor that's here for a very short time and then vanishes away. So if your life is like a vapor, how should you live? If your life's like a vapor, how should you live? You know, as I thought about this, there's this place in the Bible. The Apostle Paul is writing, and he's talking to the Corinthians about our life being like a mist or a fragrance. He actually says, you know, our life is like this sweet smelling aroma that we spread everywhere that we go. And that sweet smelling aroma is like a perfume. It's like the good news. And we take the good news of God's love in Christ and we spread it everywhere we go, right? If our life is in Christ, right? As Christians, our lives are supposed to be this kind of vapor that is heavenly. It's like a heavenly scent. You know, it's like a perfume that spreads its passionate smell everywhere we go. I have this morning for you 2 perfumes here to show you. I've brought 2 perfumes here with me. One is called Heavenly Scent, and the other over here is called Hellbent. So we have Heavenly Scent and we have the perfume Hellbent.